Hey everybody, my name is Pluto, and welcome to another commentated video. In this video, we're going to be commentating my first star that's going on the main channel for Lunatic Trials. This is Komachi's Junk Castle, red coins, and this is a very interesting star. For one, it's an overworld, but it's worth noting that if you die in this overworld, you actually lose all your red coins, so there's pretty much no checkpoints. When you die, you spawn on top of the castle, and you're pretty much able to choose these challenges in any order. I'm going to start with these wall kicks here, which are inspired from the wall kicks in Glory Hole a little bit. These are quite tricky, mostly this green one. This is because, as you can see, there's tons of little poles that have ceilings on them, which you can easily bonk into. In Jonk's Junk, there was Frame's collision patch, which allowed you to not bonk on ceilings or anything, but this hack does not have that, so you actually need to avoid the ceilings a lot more. They're a lot more dangerous. Getting in and out of this tunnel can be very inconsistent, because it's just super precise and tricky. Along the topic of doing this green tunnel, I'm also going to be going to this red tunnel here, because there's a red coin in this one. However, this one is actually much easier. It's worth noting that this is on 1.0.3, which is the most updated version. I would not recommend playing this level on any earlier versions, because they can be either janky or impossible. So if you're going to attempt this, please do it on the most recent version of the game. So those two reds weren't too bad. Well, the green one's pretty bad, but the red one wasn't too bad. But now we're going to get into the hardest part of the star. These are the junk objects. You might have noticed the level's called Komachi's Junk Castle, and yeah, that's because it's a tribute to Jonk's Junk. And we already saw that with the wall kicks, but here we have these rolling balls. The little zebra parts, the white and black, are quicksand, and the pure black is not quicksand. As you can see, you need to do some pretty precise movement to navigate those. Getting this metal cap allows us to fall into the water here and hit this underwater switch. We do need to wait out the timer a bit. While I wait for the timer, I might as well mention that I did talk about the routing a little bit with the star. The star has a lot of routing options because you can choose to do any of these red coins in pretty much any order. Normally, I'm not too into routing options because I tend to get really, a little bit weirded out if I like switch my route. But in this star, because the routes were so short, I was actually switching my route a lot, and it was really fun because I felt like I was always kind of getting some variety and not doing the same thing over and over. There I do a bit of a cheese. You're actually supposed to land on a block below that, but I ended up doing slope jumps because it was a lot more consistent than landing on a disappearing block and hoping that you got the right cycle. So I just jump on top and stall out for the proper cycle. However, we're not done with those junk objects. We actually need to go across them again because there's a second red coin, which is, in my opinion, harder but also more consistent. It took a while to get used to this. This star took 4.5 hours or so. Quite a bit of that was practice, but pretty much the entire second half. Like, I would say like half of that was practice and half of that was attempts. There I fell off, and that's because I was looking at the sphere, or the icosahedron, and I noticed that there wasn't really any cycle that I liked, or any little like spot that I felt like landing on, so I opted to just fall down instead. Thankfully that's not too bad because I need to get this red coin anyways. This red coin's kind of similar looking to Extreme Edition's Course 11. It's got these like little power towers, which you know, have these like slopes on them. This one, however, has a quicksand side, which means that you can't do the most direct jump to this section. You need to jump from the side. This is pretty difficult. I don't think it's frame perfect or anything, it's just a little tight. Very tricky jump, but it's not the hardest thing in the world, and it's very retryable. It's good to kick with an angle. I remember when I first practiced this, I had a lot of trouble with this, but once you figure it out, it's not the worst thing in the world, especially because these aren't too slippery. It's worth noting that the back wall there, like the wall that Mario is facing there, that's actually not a wall, it's a ceiling. And if you're low enough on it, you'll actually clip through it, so do not try to wall kick on it. One jump up these stairs, and now we're going to go for the red again. Accidental C up input for some reason. So traversing these junk objects can be really tricky because they're all moving on a cycle. What's nice about these though is that they're actually all moving on the same cycle. They're all timed like identically to each other, which means that you can identify like all the cycles are really short. Usually you only need to know like 2 specific triangles that will repeat, so that way you can maneuver on these and stall on them. Then wait for your cycle. For this one, I'm looking for a certain visual cue, so that way I can jump onto that triangle and then do a chain long jump there. That might seem a little risky, but it was by far the most consistent way to do it. I also didn't believe it when Shine told me about this, the creator of this hack. told me that long jumping twice was better, but once I tried it and got into it, I realized it was just the best way. Now these rotating discs here are all rotating along a certain axis. This one's rotating a bit oddly. You want to wait for the darker side to do this jump, it's just better. And then maneuvering on these pinwheels here can be pretty difficult. You might remember these from Torture Test. These ones, however, are a lot harder to navigate than the ones that we did in Torture Test, at least with the cheese. If I'm being honest, I actually think this star might be harder than Junk's Junk Torture Test, with the cheese, of course, which is just a testament to how crazy this is. It's just so difficult to get consistent at these sections, but maybe that'll change. I'm sure other people won't find it that hard. It's just like, this kind of thing's really tricky for me to learn and figure out. Here I do a triple jump off the little bottom part, so that way I can stall in the air waiting for that part to line up, and then I do a quick double jump and triple jump to land on this side. Now I'm going to wait for this to rotate so it's on the flatter side. Now I'm going to just walk up and do a double jump, triple jump off that, avoid the ceiling of the pinwheel coming up, and now I need to line up on this one, just so that way I'm not butt sliding, just like that, and then long jump off that and do a wall kick, and that first E is not necessary, but it does help, allows you to just get down faster. So I know that was a lot, but it is very tricky to get used to that section because it's just so much stuff over and over and over again. There's only one more difficult red coin, and it's the easiest of the hard ones in my opinion. It's worth noting that the red area does have some collision issues, which is why it's not quite the easiest. You do need to get used to it a little bit. But on the most recent version, the collision issues are mostly fixed. The main collision issues are on the entrance of the door, but even then they're not that bad. The thing that makes these slopes the easiest part, though, is that for the most part, it's kind of hard to die here. There's obviously a couple mistakes that are completely fatal, but this room is actually directly above another room, which has safe ground on the sides of it, and it also has safe ground in the middle in the form of these cones. So if you fall off, there's a decent chance that you'll actually be able to save yourself. The main tricky thing is this jump here. You need to get a lot of momentum off this off this triangle, and to do that, you need to hold a specific angle here. I hold down right and then directly left after the wall kick, and then I like to get a first there, but depending on your speed, you sometimes don't need it. That's the 6 red. Now I know you're seeing the star display, and you'll see that there's 9 reds there, but I have 7. That's because this game's star display doesn't support Bowser Stage reds when there's more than 8. This hack custom codes Bowser Stage reds to have more than 8 of them. There's 9 of them in every stage. No exceptions, by the way. Every stage has 9 reds. And because of that, it's look a little glitchy, but that's why this, in the top left, is that red coin counter, which actually does work, unlike the star display one. Get that quick red, and now we just need to get the reds in the garden, which is the easiest part of the level. There's this little alcove in here, jump in this little tunnel, and there's one here. And then this second tree here will have one in its leaves. That's pretty much a star, so I hope you enjoyed. I know it's a short one, but this star is really tough. Not one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's very, very difficult, and I'm very proud of it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video of this hack, which will probably be course 6, which is going to be a lot harder. I'll see you guys then. Bye. That's it. Yeah, that's getting commentated. That is so difficult, dude. Holy shit. Let's go, dude. Let me post that in Discord real quick.